So first off, if you do have questions, if you don't know how Zoom works yet, there is a chat box. Please ask the questions there. You guys are saying hello, so that's awesome. And so we're just going to talk a little bit about how impactful email is. It's not going away. We use it for everything. We use it for logging on to things. We use it for business, and we really, really should understand a lot more about how email impacts us. Okay, Sherry, good morning. Good morning. Okay, so ask in the chats and let's get started. So a lot of times people don't realize that email is something that actually makes you feel disorganized. That's one thing when you're running a business. And a lot of times you can't find stuff because email overwhelm. We're going to talk about that. We see agents are stressed out and working too hard on their business, but there's so many things that you can save a ton of time when you understand email a little bit better. And we always see people trying to find new clients. And this is just kind of, I always like to talk to this a little bit because email is just one thing. When we help agents, it's from top down. Do you use free email? And we're going to talk about that free email and what the issue is about that. And we find that a lot of agents are always trying to find new clients while they're still neglecting their actual clients, right? And that's a lot of money lost when you don't have your systems in place. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. If you've ever had a past client go with another agent, could it be because of systems? Could it be because of your email address and how it's set up? So we'll talk about that as well. And this is something I talk about all the time. Sorry, broker owners who are out there, but please own your own data, use your own email, use your own CRM. And yes, use some of the brokerage tools, but your clients should be in something that you own. So if you leave a brokerage, they still have your email address, your website, etc. Okay. And we always talk about people feel like technology like Gmail is the enemy, and it's not. Technology is usually when people are frustrated, it's because they haven't spent the time to learn it, and technology is changing all the time, right? So really important to understand that. So hopefully today we're going to kiss goodbye to some of the headaches you have with email. We're going to hopefully save you time so you understand some of these really cool tips and tricks. And when things are set up properly and you have a proper email, a business email that can sync with the CRM that makes you actually keep in touch with your clients, is a game changer. Many dollars lost will be recovered. Okay. So I always like to talk a little bit about why the heck am I here? Yes, I'm getting you headshots, you guys. I started to go white and it's taken so long, and I actually now have to book. It's almost presentable. I lost my curls. It was a horrible 2 years. So anyhow, my name is Darci LaRocque. I have the only technology program in the world for agents to actually have them set up their business like a business. And I've had hundreds, thousands of agents I've helped over the years. I absolutely love what I do. Today, we'll be talking about one portion today about email. Okay. And also that I've worked with thousands and thousands of agents all across North America to help them increase their business and save time. And then helping agents leverage their business systems to obviously save time and money. I'm all about the time and money, and I'm always about the agent, okay, owning your own data. And a quick little intro to my husband. This is Terry. He became an agent back in 2008, and really my whole business kind of was because of that, because my IT background, I was on TV for 3 seasons. I always forget to tell people that because it's kind of interesting. I was on TV for 3 seasons teaching tech tips, really hard to say. And then also I have worked with email servers for, well, since they've been around. So that was been a really long time, and how things integrate and sync with phones, tablets, computers, Outlook, Mac Mail, and all the different issues that we have with email, and some I'm going to cover today. When Terry became an agent, he had some Yahoo email or free Gmail email or something. I'm like, what the heck? That's not professional. Let's fix that. And then we look at, how do we get everything to sync and integrate? Because my goal for any agent is that if you add a contact to your phone, that contact should be attached to your business email. Most of the time it's not. And so we want it to, you add a contact, edit a contact anywhere, including a CRM, and they all update and all integrate and all synchronize, which is awesome. Okay. And then, of course, Terry also at that time was coming back to the office to get his files and folders. Cloud storage is a problem for agents. And then he was going to keep track of his deals by spreadsheet. That is not a CRM, you guys, not a CRM. Okay. So let's get started on the questions. Actually, first off, I'm going to flip the screen and I'm going to talk about the stuff I promised to talk to you about. Hey, Ray, how are you? Sign up for my program. That's right. Thanks. Ray's gone through my program as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have a dummy account and I'm going to use the dummy account to show you stuff. So I've registered for newsletters and stuff, so I can, delete things and show you things and not use my own account. So let me just flip out of here. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I'm going to go here. And this is my dummy account. So there's a couple things that I was going to talk about. And again, if you have questions, please, please, please put them in the chat as we go through this. So one of the things I promised to talk about was, what is the difference between a free email account? And a free email account could be, we're obviously talking Gmail today, so it could be a @Gmail email, it could be Yahoo, it could be Shaw or TELUS or AOL or MSN or iCloud. Like, if you're not paying for your email address and it's not a true business email address, then you're doing your business a disservice. Okay, so this example is my email address is Darci 2006, because was not born in 2006, but I set this account up in 2006. And so that's why I have that email address, and it's really a demo account. I don't use it for anything else. But what I see is many agents continue to use a free account to order to run their business, which is not very good. It's bad. There's many reasons why you shouldn't do that. There's a whole webinar that's about 45 minutes on my website that you can see what I'm talking about. So register for that if you haven't seen it. But email is critical to be set up properly in order for certain things to happen. So one of the things too with free accounts is that with free accounts, you get spammed, right? Because they're free and nobody knows it's a real person, because anyone can set it up, right? You will get marketed to because they will scan your stuff and market appropriately to you, right? That's another issue. Small mailboxes, because it's free, but they're maintaining servers, they've got staff, people need to get paid, but you're using the free version. So it's always a small mailbox. If you're deleting the email out of there, then that's a problem. And then it's just optically bad. And there's no support for free emails. Generally speaking, there is no support for free emails. So it's always better to have a properly configured business email. And when I say that, there's different ways of doing it. And I'll give you guys an opportunity to book a chat with me at the end to review how your systems are. If you're using a free email for your business, you should book a chat with me so we can discuss the issues that you're having. Okay. So, but the interface for Gmail this is the interface for Gmail, right? They've got the Gmail app that you would use on your phone. And then this is the browser interface. And it is what we call an email client. And I want you to understand this, okay? Is that an email client is like Outlook. If you download Outlook on your desktop and you open up Outlook, that's a third-party email client that can view any email, Gmail, Yahoo, Shaw, doesn't matter. Okay, it's a third-party email viewer, right? So on a Mac, you have Mac Mail. There's like probably 100 or so that I know of email clients that people can use. Spark Mail. There's so many, but I want you to understand that they're viewers of email. This is using a browser that you're looking at to view this Gmail email. Make sense? Yeah, I'm just looking at the questions. Navneet, I hope you're doing well. I have a concern that even my G Suite email goes to spam. So what you're talking about is a business email. And this is a thing that many people don't understand. And this is what we help in the program. There's settings that need to be done in the back end when you actually are an administrator of an account of your business email to make it even more foolproof. So that would be why. And there's settings that have to be adjusted. And I can't get into that. That's actually, it's not hard, but it's a little more complicated. Okay. Okay. So let's talk first about one of the things that I like to always talk with agents, because I think most people don't understand this. I always recommend to not use any images or anything in a email signature. And the reason is that you don't know when you send me an email what I'm using to view that email. And so a lot of times the Facebook icons or social media icons, your banner, whatever it might be, are stripped off the signature anyhow, and they end up added to the email. And then I might think that you're sending me something. So I'm opening up this stupid Facebook icon and your banner. And banners, when you have a banner as well, yeah, they look beautiful. All the emails that people, signatures that people create, they look beautiful for the sender. You don't know how the receiver receives it. And when people use banners that say your website and any link that it might not be clickable, when they just use an image to have all the information. So that's kind of useless as well. Questions, comments on that? So let me just, I don't even remember on this one. Do I have a signature? When I hit compose here, oh, there you go. I was just testing this. So this is the signature, no images, but you can fool around with colors and fonts and of course links. Does that make sense? And then on any signature, when you're putting a website in, you want to cap the first letter of each word. Because if you look at mine, isn't that way easier to see and understand what that says rather than them all lowercase? I don't want to make you work to try and figure it out, right? Makes sense? Let me just see if there's any questions. There's no other questions, I don't think. No, okay, perfect. So signatures are really important, and I do really stress that people do not use images. And actually, if you go to my, let me just show you, if you go to Agent Tech Mastery, not calculator, but let's go there. I want to show you, if you go to the blog, there's a blog here. And in the blog, it talks about signatures. I've got common issues that people talk about. Why should I not use logos, images, and banners? And actually in this blog, it shows, I'll pull it up so you guys can actually see. Okay, it shows, so this is what happens. It may look like this to me because I can't see your signature anyhow. This is a real story about what happened. This is where Facebook gets taken out, LinkedIn or Twitter, whatever it was. There's every time they emailed back and forth, all the icons and links or banners or anything that was in this person's signature, I kept getting. So if they had 5, then we respond back, then there'd be 10. So and then he sent me something that I was supposed to read, and I got to try and figure out of all these attachments, what's the actual attachment that I want to read. So see this, like that is bad. And so again, I don't recommend using images or anything like that in a email signature. Questions? I think we're all good. I don't think questions. Okay. Another one that I was promised to talk about was, how do you clean up your inbox fast? So I know a lot of you guys might have like 100,000 emails, right? Like that happens. Again, this is a demo count, and I do this every so often, so I don't have that many, but 688 emails in my inbox. But it's overwhelming, I think, when you log on every day and you've got stuff that isn't important, but it's still weighing on your head, right? It just, you want to get rid of it. And how I generally work, if we looked at my actual email, I probably normally would have maybe 5 emails in there because they're ones I haven't taken action on. Everything else, it will come back to my inbox when necessary, which I'll show you a really cool tip on that. And everything else just, goes into the proper folder, or archive, trash. We're going to talk about that because I find most people get very confused about this. Archive and trash emails. So all the ones that you literally are working on are in the inbox. So let me show you what you could do if you're like, oh gosh, I want to get rid of all of Dick's Sporting Goods emails, right? This is a way to do this. So I could open this up, and then I might see, this looks like spam to me, so I don't know. I'd copy this. I usually would copy the email address, but I think that's spam. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to put it in my search up above, and it's going to tell me everything that says Dick's Sporting Goods. So I could then select them all and say delete. Now, what I want you to understand, because I think most people don't understand this, and this is for other, if you're an Outlook user or a Mac user, there's similarities in all these email clients, okay? So basically, I can delete them, which when I say delete, it puts it in my trash, in my email trash, and then I have 30 days to change my mind, right? Unless I empty my trash, but automatically the system will delete the trash after you've put it in there for 30 days. So let's say I want to keep Dick's Sporting Goods, but what I want is it to get out of my inbox. I could just say archive it. And archive just means put it in this spot that's called all mail. So it's still searchable. You can still find it, but it's not cluttering up your inbox. So I'll show you what that means. I'm just going to archive all the emails. Okay. Now instead of 688, what do I have? 661. Now I can't remember what it is. But it's archived. So where the Dick stuff is, if I go to, all mail. So I'm going to scroll to the left and hit more, and then all mail. So all mail literally is all mail. So the stuff that I just archived went in here. And everything in all mail is still searchable. So deleting is deleting. And archiving is keeping it in all mail, but out of your inbox. Does that make sense? So I'm going to do it again so you guys can see this. Okay, I'm going to go back to the inbox. Let's pick something else. Dick's is still here. You know what? Let's try that again. I don't know why that didn't work. Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm going to do it again. Whoops. This is the problem with being live. Sporting Goods. I'm not typing this right. There we go. Let's try that again. I'm going to select it all, and I am going to archive it. Oh, it didn't let me archive it. That's why. Why didn't it let me archive it? There is a reason, unless it's already archived. What we can do also is, let's just see if these are sitting somewhere else. They're not. What we could also do, and this is really mostly what I do, is I actually create a folder label. They're called labels in Google. And then I get them out of the inbox. So in it, this is another example. Let's say I want to put all Dick's Sporting Goods into one label. So there's many ways to do it. This is the way I would do it. Highlight everything, create new. And then I would call it whatever. Call it Dick's Sporting Goods. And then if I wanted it to be a subfolder of a folder, this is what I would do here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say create. And now look, all these are under Dick's Sporting Goods, right? So then if I scroll down to that label and it goes in alphabetical order, here are all the emails from Dick's. This is a fast way to clean stuff up. Another fast way to clean stuff up, and you're like, okay, my inbox is overwhelming. I have hundreds of thousands of emails. What you can do is go back to the inbox, and you could literally get all of them. So hold on, let me do this again. Tap up here. And I would say select all 686 messages. And if you know that none of them are something you need to act on, of course, right? You only know that. If let's say I really want this one and this one to stay in my inbox, then I would do that. And everything else you want to archive, to say, I don't want to try and figure out what's in there anymore. I don't care. I can just archive. I'm not going to do this because I want to show you a bunch of other tricks and tips, but I could archive this. So it archives it out of everything out of the inbox, and it saves everything in all mail, all searchable. Cool, right? Any questions? No, you still are good. Okay, perfect. Let me just look at another thing that is by default that drives people bonkers. Let's look at this. So for every email client, and of course I am talking Gmail, but if you use something else, they always have kind of a back end to it, to things that you can configure. So in Gmail, and Gmail has been making a lot of changes in the last 3 weeks of where things are. It's driving me a bit bonkers because I'm so used to going somewhere and then I have to figure out where it is now. But this gear is still here, so that's good. So if we go to the gear, this is the main stuff is common things that maybe people want to change. So I like my email to look like this, but you might want it to look like this. So the conversations are on the right-hand side, or the conversations are below the inbox. This is just personal changes, right? Depending on how you like your inbox to look. Do you like important emails first or unread emails first, or the default? So you can play around with all these settings and see what you like better, right? And then same with the density and how I'll just change it because you'll see what it looks like in a second. Also, not going to show right away. It just shows slightly different with these different views. And again, I'm just going to keep everything as default for now. Then there's even more settings. So if we go see all settings, then we have all these email settings. So look at the menu up at the top. Crazy. There's a lot of things. So I could probably talk half a day about all the cool settings. We don't have that much time. So I'm just going to talk about a few things that people don't really realize about that you should change. So one thing I look at as I scroll down here is that, where is it? This one here is on by default. And most people don't like it. What that means is that it clumps emails together. And most people, then you're trying to find it and you're looking through all the sub things of emails and it's frustrating. And just this little change means that when we email, it comes as separate emails, not all clumped together. So that's a big one that I think it should be off by default, but I'm not Google. They don't, listen to me. Let me see another question. We can always find emails in we can always find emails in archive, I think, as they are not deleted. Always find if you archive them. If you delete them, you can look in the trash, but you only have 30 days. How to organize expenses and receipts for accounting. Oh, if I don't answer that, Navneet, I'll show you how we do it. I do it. Okay. So this is one, again, conversation view that I think is worthwhile to turn it off. See if you like it. If you don't, you go back in and you turn it back on, right? It's just views of how things work. And then if we scroll down here, this is where you saw that signature, and this is where we can create multiple signatures. Now, as of now, the multiple signatures don't work on the mobile app. It will pull the main signature that you have, okay? But it will work on the Chrome browser version or any browser version of Gmail, okay? So, well, I'll show you what I mean by that. So number one, this is my main. Number one, main, up here it's called main, and this is my main signature. Then on replies and forwards, I always tell people for replies and forwards, then you should just put your first name and your phone number. So if you have a big signature, you don't want that in every single email, right? Just food for thought. And another question, for some reason, my signature doesn't come up on mobile. So the Gmail mobile app, by default, it should, but you don't see it. So you have to look at it. It's weird. I don't know why, but you don't see the signature. And you can look in your sent items to see if it shows a signature. If it doesn't, then you have to enable it on the mobile device. Okay, so let's say I want to create another signature. Let's say I'm also, I don't know what, a mortgage broker, mortgage broker. Okay, and so I'm going to put Darci LaRocque at whatever main mortgage, whatever alliance. That is not how you spell alliance. Alliance. I think that's right. And then whatever my email is, Darci at blah blah whatever .ca. My phone number, right? Okay. So now I have another email or another email signature for a different business or for different things I want to say. And you have to scroll down and hit save. So what that means is when I go to compose, I can, where's the multiples? I gotta always remember because I don't use this very much. Hold on, you can toggle between signatures. Just a sec. Oh no, not that. That's another cool feature which I'll show in a minute. Okay. Oh my goodness, you guys, my mind's gone blank on where to add the I know it's really easy. It's really, here it is, signature. Insert signature. So I can insert the different signatures, but it does not work on the mobile app. You cannot pick different signatures. You pick the main one and that's it. Okay. Thank you, Phil. Okay, Cindy. Hey, Cindy. Is the Remax here just a font? Yeah, it's just a font. Exactly. I just made it a certain font and then colored the to do the Remax colors. Okay. Okay, so everyone understands that, how that works with signatures? Yes, any questions? Let me just see. I think we're good. Okay. Another super cool feature that you can do, I'm going to compose another email and I'm going to tap on the 3 dots here and I'm going to use templates. So there's lots of things that you can use for templates and just think about stuff. Now, some things, if you have a properly configured CRM that integrates with everything, you'll probably do some of this stuff in the CRM, but some of this stuff, just think about how you would use the templates and even signatures. You don't have to use signatures for signatures. You could use it for something else. And again, the mobile app doesn't work with templates. Don't ask me why. Again, it's a Google thing. But if you're on a browser, you can use templates. So what are templates? So for example, I did this previously. What is a DORT video? For our Americans, you don't know what a DORT is, but let's say this is one I did. And, if you could put a video in there, you could do whatever you want and create a video. And then you would put that template in here. One I have all the time is a Zoom one, not on my real one, because I might have a Zoom meeting with people and for some reason they can't find it. So I've created a template that I just say, okay, put the 3 dots there, go to templates, and then there's one for Zoom, and it would have the Zoom link, the password, and everything you need to get into the Zoom meeting. Make sense? Another one that might make sense for you guys, this is what we teach in our program, how to use this, why to use it, but this is another one that is, let me just make this big so you can see. So it's this one. I didn't remove the DORT one first, which I should have done. So this is a pre-done template to, if you're sharing a link with another agent to get strata docs or HOA docs or any documents that you need. And this is an explainer video on how to do things. If you're a Google user, do this. If you're not, do this. If you want to forward this to your clients and use the link, do this. So it's pretty handy whenever you can think about something that you're always saying, create a template for it and just, we would just change this. We put the proper agent's name, we put the link here, we put it to the right agent, and then this is all done. Pretty cool, right? Let me see. What is my favorite font? There isn't really, let me go back. I'm going to go back into, how do I want to do this? For fonts, so what people question sometimes is that in Google, there's only so many fonts that you can use. So that is in here for formatting. And there are about, I think there's 12, 10, I don't know how many, because different fonts aren't viewable on all other places that people are reading your emails. So we always keep at the top. That's why they have the top fonts. So these are the only fonts you can play around with. So if I was going to put, I don't know, oops, sorry, let me change that again. Not sans serif. If I wanted this one, and then as I type, that's Trebuchet, whatever it's called. If I want to change it to another one, I could do that. If I want to change the color, I could go up here again. Oh, sorry, no, here. Color, so you can change the background color, the text color. So there's a lot of formatting options you can do with your signature. Okay. Question: when it's in all mail, does it count against your inbox storage? Absolutely. And for you guys, that's where that's a problem. If you are using a free email of any sort, right? You don't want to just keep everything because all the crap stuff counts towards your storage. And that's why you need a properly configured business email. Do archiving Gmail accounts, oh, same, I think that's the same question. Do archive Gmail's account, I can't talk. Archive Gmail's count to space used? Yes. So the answer is yes, it does. Okay. Templates, everyone understands templates because they're cool. Let me just do one more so you get it. Let's say I want to create a template, another template. I always take the signature off and I put the subject. So let's pretend I want to do a Zoom link for here. So I'm going to call it Zoom link. And I'm going to say, hi. See, it's got the sans serif and a certain size. Hi, here is the Loom link for you. Oh my goodness, for you. And then whatever, www. Blah, 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 blah. And it would be hyperlinked, of course, when I would paste it into here. And then I would save this to reuse. And how do I save it? Well, I go to the 3 dots at the bottom. I go templates, save draft as template, save as a new template. It takes the subject and puts it as the template name, and I save it. So now let me show you what I just did. I'm just going to close that. I'm going to compose. I'm going to go insert template. And that was the one that was Zoom link. And there we are. Pretty cool, right? So think about how useful that could be for you. Does G Suite, G Suite is now called Google Workspace. Does it have an inbox storage limit? Yes, but you'll never reach it if you're on the right plan. So for business emails, that's the big thing, is what plan are you on? How is it configured? And if you're a paid business user, then you get support and you get an enormous amount of space. Okay. Let me just go back. I think I answered everybody's question. Okay. Now, any questions on templates? Let's see. No. Okay. Don't see that. Okay. Let me just go back. Okay. So let's go to the next question. How to stop. So we're going to talk labels, actually. So labels, people get very confused about labels. So I'm going to talk about labels. In Google, labels, they really are labels, but I think people understand it better if you call it folders. It's because we're used to folders and folder structure, right? Folders and then subfolders. And so you can have labels and sublabels and sublabels, but they are called labels. Now, in a good CRM, the labels will also synchronize, right? So whatever labels you've got here on the side. So this is my, again, this is my demo account, but these are all my labels. And these labels are all like, we could throw anybody into a label. Let me just go back to my inbox and I'll show you. Okay. Oh, you know what? I changed the view. I hate this view. So what am I going to do? I'm going to hit, this is personal preference because you get used to it a certain way, right? So I'm going to hit the gear and go back to, oh, how did I change? What did I change here? Here, this one, I want no split. There we go. All it is a view, right? I don't like it. I go back, I take it off, turn it on, try another view. Okay. So in here, let's say that we want, I don't know, let's, trying to find one that I've registered for. Let's look at, I don't know, whoever, I can't find one here, just a sec, there's got to be, this is all spam, a lot of spammy stuff. Let's say T-Mobile. So I go up here, I type T-Mobile. And these are all junk, but I did not do anything to do with T-Mobile. So this is a free account that's getting spammed. Right? I don't have anything to do with T-Mobile. I don't know why I'm even on their list, but whatever. But let's pretend I care, right? So what I would do is I would search for T-Mobile. I would tap here. And again, I can label it this way. There's many ways to do the same thing. I tap up here. I'm going to say create a new label. I'm going to call it T-Mobile. And I'm going to create it. And then this is what I do. I want it out of my inbox because I just want to move them to the T-Mobile. Then I archive it, says, okay, keep that same label, but get it out of my inbox. Make sense? Okay, let me just see. You've got some more questions. Should I get a separate seat for my admin, or should I CC it and give her access to my email? If we haven't talked already, we should talk about that, because I'm gonna just, that question is always puts hairs on my arm, because what people generally do is they don't understand how things are set up. And so what I see agents do is that they'll give somebody rights to their email logon. Well, it's all good until it's not, right? And then they could do a lot of damage. So should you CC somebody, or should they have their own account? My preference is, if you're set up properly and you have a properly configured business email and you have an assistant, that they should also have one as well. And then you give rights the proper way. Okay, you can't do that on a free account either, is what it is. And one of the things too is, if you give, like, let's say my free email, Darci2006@gmail, and you hire me as a VA or something, and you say, okay, here, Darci, you have rights to this folder structure, and then I start creating folders, then they become mine, because of the way you're not set up to run a business properly. So that could be very bad. And I've heard a lot of horrible stories from many people about, something goes sideways and you get in a fight, and then they have access to things and they can delete things accidentally, or they don't even know that they're doing something wrong and they delete all your files and folders. So it's very important you guys have a business, and you should have a business set up like a proper business. What do you consider a good CRM? Good question. A good CRM is one that will sync with your contacts and calendars, so that everything syncs and integrates. You add or edit a contact on your phone, it ends up in the CRM. You're in the CRM, you edit the CRM, it ends up on your phone. Okay. They all otherwise kind of do similar things. How do you organize old useless labels? Yeah, good one. So let's look at old useless labels. Okay. Let me go down here, and let's say that, I don't use Shutterfly anymore and I want to get rid of the label. If I tap on the 3 dots, so on any software, 3 dots, 3 lines, or a gear, generally speaking, the 3 dots will get you to do something else. 3 lines, we call that a hamburger menu, because it kind of looks like a hamburger. That's where you can go do something else within that app or software. And in here, this says, well, what do we want to do? Remove the label. So I'm going to tap this, and it says, remove the label from 70 conversations and delete the label. Yes. Now it keeps the emails, but it removes a label. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. Yes. Questions? That's how you delete old useless labels. There's another way too. If I tap on the gear icon, and again, it's personal preference. There's, like I said, there's usually 2 or 3 different ways to do the same thing. So now I'm going to go into see all settings, and then my labels will be listed under labels. And this is where I also could delete them if I didn't want them. Okay. There's just a different view as the one on the very left-hand side. And yes, how do you remove emails there too? If you want to remove the emails as well, you would highlight all the emails first. Let me go back. I'm going to go back here. Let's say this one, whoever this person is. So let's say I want to get rid of these emails as well. I would highlight them and I would delete them. Okay, so now they're deleted, and then I would have an empty label to remove label. Make sense? All good? Okay. If they're archived, if they're archived and you delete, if they're archived and you delete the label, does it put them back in the inbox? No, it keeps them in all mail. Good question. Can you suggest what labels should be used for real estate? Yeah, we go through that. If you come through our program, we talk about how to label things or categorize things in a structure, right? So one of the things you want to know is, like, in this, how any label, how any structure is on a computer, whether it's your files and folders on your hard drive or it's this structure of labels, is that it goes asterisks and symbols first. So symbols always will come first, then numbers, and then the alphabet. So if you don't want this, that's why I put this up here. If I took away the exclamation mark, it would be in alphabetical order, right? But if I want, this is a folder I use all the time, or a label I use all the time, I put a symbol above it. So it's at the top, so I don't have to scroll down or go to subfolders and try and figure out where it is all the time. Does that make sense? Okay. In general tab and settings at the very bottom, it states send my response to people, send a response to people in my business, where you can tell the two different okay, I don't know what you're talking about. So let's walk through that. So you're saying in settings, see all settings. Oh, you're talking about vacation responder. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about vacation responder. That's down here. Okay. So this vacation responder literally is anybody who, there's two ways, only to send people who are in your contacts, which is usually what you do if this is your working, like if you're going away actually on holidays, or you're at a conference, or someone's looking after your business for whatever reason, I would turn this on. I'd be very specific in the subject, and I'd be very specific what, you're away for 2 days, and please call Joe, he's looking after my business, or please text me, or whatever, if it's urgent, whatever your vacation responder is. And what this means, if I did this, it's only people that are in my contacts will get the autoresponder. If you leave that off, if like eBay is not in my contacts, let's say, it's still going to send that autoresponder to them as well. That's the difference. Okay. But I have to be clear, Sherry, because you've worked with me already. That answer is only for your proper business email. Okay. Okay. I think I've answered everybody. No, I haven't. Are there a way automatically to send new emails to a certain file? Yes. Yes. So great question. Absolutely. The question is, any new emails from a specific person, and I want to do something with it. So I can do it under here, but I'm going to show you back up here in my inbox. We'll pick one that we want to use, and then you can see live how it works, because it's super cool. Okay, so let's say I'm going to look at one. Let's say every time I get, I'm just trying to find something common. See, this is such spam. It's so bad for a free account. Okay. Let's look at, I don't know, let's do the first one. Let's just do Gary Evans. Okay. So let's say it's this guy's emailing me all the time, and every time he emails me, or if it's your MLS, whatever the email is that comes with a subject or whatever, you can make it really specific or super general. So let's look at this. So usually what I do is I want it from the email address. So this is what I do is I copy this, and then I'll say, if it said something specific, so I can say, create a filter. They're called filters. Filter messages like this. So it opens it up and it says, okay, I'm going to put the person's email and address. Sometimes it doesn't. And we can be really specific. So it could be from your MLS, you want some emails, but you don't want the ones that say something specific. So you can say from the MLS email, and the subject is whatever, listing alerts or something. Okay, we could type that in, listing. This isn't going to work, but no, that's not going to work. But if it really was, you type in listing alerts, and you can be really specific, or you can be really general, saying that every email that comes from this person, I'm going to do this. Okay. You can be so specific that it doesn't have these words, it has these words, that the subject has to be this, that it has an attachment. There's a lot of cool features, but this guy, I want to create a filter. And then it's going to say, well, okay, what other stuff do you want to do, Darci? And so I can look through this. So this says, don't put his emails in my inbox. I want to just move them, archive them to I'll call it, I'll just put it in this first one. Okay. And it says, oh, also there's one message that's matching that. So I can create the filter, but I would look through this. Maybe I want it to be marked red, so it doesn't show that number beside the folder label. That bugs me. That's usually what I say is mark red, but sometimes I don't, depending on what I'm doing. Okay. Never send to spam, send a template to that person. Like there's a ton of things that you can use with filters. Filters are awesome. But I'm just going to keep this simple. I'm going to create the filter. Okay. And I did it on this one. So now it's red and there's Gary Evans. Okay. So you can use filters for anything. In my actual working business email, I have a ton of filters. So I might have every time something comes in from some company, archive them, put them in a folder or delete it and forward it to my assistant because I know he handles those specific emails. Label them. We can also color code our labels. So like this shows orange. So maybe you want to color code stuff. So they come into your inbox and you know it's a color coded thing that means something to you. It's super cool. Like if you think about how powerful the filtering is. Okay. Let me just see. Oh, okay. I think I answered all that. Sorry, just a sec. I think I've so far answered everybody. Okay. There's some other cool features. How are we doing? Good. 15 minutes. There's some other cool features that you might not be aware of. So I'm going to compose an email. And this is how I actually, let me do it a different way. I'm going to go to my inbox. And there's a couple things. So let's say, I don't know why some of these are not. I noticed that Google, sorry, I'm distracted because Google now has this, I've never seen this feature before, that it's actually telling me if I want to unsubscribe from something that's coming into my inbox, which is interesting. It's good. I'm just going to say no thanks to get up more real estate here. And there we go. Now Gary's gone. Good. It just took a minute to get rid of Gary. And now Gary is in this label here. Okay. Okay. Another cool feature. Let's say this email came in and I can't do this today, but I want to do it tomorrow, but I don't want it cluttering up my inbox. This is cool. You ready? Okay. Up here, there's a snooze function. So what I would do, it gives me some options. It's tomorrow it's Friday. Tomorrow is Saturday. So I could say pop back into my inbox. I could pick a specific date and time, but let's say I want this back in this inbox on tomorrow when I'm going to act on that email. Okay. Snooze feature is awesome. The other feature that a lot of people don't know is when you go to compose. So I don't know about you guys, but I work weird hours sometimes. And so I don't want somebody knowing that I'm sending an email at 2 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whatever. I want it to go out at a normal business hour. So I would type the email. So I'm just going to type to myself, I guess. Test, whatever, subject, whatever you want to put in here. And then I could delay the send. So I tap on the little arrow here and I say schedule send. And I pick a date and time that I actually want this email to be sent. So that's pretty cool, right? So usually, if it's 6 a.m, I want to go at 9. So I've just changed the date to today at 9. Or if it's in the middle of the night, I can do whatever I want, right? Pretty cool. How's that? You guys like that tip? Okay. I use this all the time and it's amazing. Is it you created promotions? Oh, yeah. Or was it created by Gmail? So yeah, the question is all these tabs, those are created by Gmail. And again, on the free accounts, we don't have as much control over this kind of stuff because look at all this crap I've got. I don't like this view, but it's a view. So this is because it's a free account, right? You get inundated with crap from free accounts. And because free accounts are meant for my mom or a teenager, not a business user. All right. So there are ways to change this. This is just a view because these things like this promotions tab is literally just right here as well, right? Right here on the left-hand side. It's just a different view. So you could, if you're like me, like I don't like seeing those tabs up at the top. So guess what? I can change that because it's a view. So I go to the gear, see all settings. It's under accounts. Under accounts, I always forget because I change it once, then I never look at it again. Hold on, I got to remember inbox. So this is where you can change these so they're not there. And sometimes you have to save the changes and sometimes you don't. So always scroll to the bottom and see if there is an option that says save changes. It's a weird quirky thing I've seen with Gmail that you don't always have to tap on this. So then if we go back into the inbox, now it's just my inbox, but the categories are still sitting here. Okay. Makes sense? Okay, I think, let me just see if there's. Okay, so let me just go back here. I'm just going to go back into the gear icon and see all settings. I just want you to see all these cool things that we have. So I would, if I was you and I was a Gmail user, I would go through all of these settings. One of the cool features that they actually, this is just new, is that I changed this to 30 seconds because what happens here, I'll show you this. This is cool. I'm going to go back to the bottom because we have to say save changes. But let's say I'm going to send an email. And how many times you're like, oh, I didn't mean, or I forgot to put something on it, or I did something I didn't mean to send that email. So this is what's going to happen. And that's a really cool feature. Compose. Come on. Slow as molasses. Come on. Load it up. Okay. So I'm going to send it to myself again. I want you to see what happened. And I'm going to say test undo. Okay, so I watch what happens on the left-hand corner on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to hit send. And it's going to say, it's going to give me 30 seconds to undo that. So I can undo it. I actually think it should be a minute, but 30 seconds is better than 5 seconds, right? So it was there before, but people probably didn't see it because it was so fast sitting there. So now it'll sit there for 30 seconds saying, do you want to undo it? Which is a very good saving grace feature, right? Like it's very helpful when you're like, oh no. So I would suggest making that change as well. Let me go back to the gear and we'll look through some of the other really important ones. And then I'll go through some of your questions. So in here, I don't like some of the smart features. Actually, you'll see a lot of the smart features I turn off. If you like them, great, use them. Again, it's personal preference, right? Mail notifications. I don't like getting notified on the Gmail app because I'm in there all the time, so I don't want to be notified. If you aren't, it might not be a bad idea to do the notifications. Okay, and then in labels, that's where you can see how the labels look at the left-hand side, okay? See where I see inbox and snoozed. So any snoozed ones, I showed you that snooze feature sitting here. Now I wouldn't do this, but if you wanted to hide it, look on the left-hand side, it's just gone. And then now I show it again, it's just a view, okay? To show something or not show something, okay? So this is all the folders you can play around with whether you want to see them or not. I would think most of the time you'd want to see them, but that is an option. Inbox, this is where I changed the not seeing the tabs at the top, and then other stuff too. You'd read this and say, how do I like this? It is also on the very first thing that when you hit the gear icon on the right, but if you miss it up here, see where it talks about reading panes and stuff. When you tap on there, you can do it inside here. Accounts and import, most of the time you're not going to make many changes in this. Filters are where, see, this is me, just all the filters that I have on this dummy account are amazing. This is about forwarding, add-ons to Google. There's lots of add-ons to Google, so you could look and see what add-ons are. There's different themes for how it looks. You can open up themes and create different themes. So, you like when you're logged on to email. I have just a general theme with just makes it look businessy. My other one, I have another account and I have it a color. So it's personal preference. Okay. Okay. Questions. Any other questions? We got 7 minutes. Do you check show in IMAP? Oh, that's a loaded question. I was worried someone was going to ask that. So this is where, and Sherry, you're set up properly because you've gone through my program. So it's irrelevant for you. By default, it will say show in IMAP. And IMAP means that the folder will show on your device as well. And there's way more to it than that. But if you're set up properly, it shouldn't matter. Okay. How do you back up old emails that you want to keep to get them out of storage? So archiving, right? I think, does that answer your question? So you want to keep emails, you archive them. That's simple as that. Okay. And then if you need to look for them, you just search for them. So Gmail has a very powerful search feature. So if I'm looking, I can do a search up here for anything, something that has an attachment, something that was a specific day or year. I can search for anything. So sometimes all I'm doing is I like searching from everything from that says the word Darci. Okay. So it's going through my drafts. It's going through everything that says the word Darci. Of course, a lot of these are going to say my name because it's mine, right? But you can go over here to this. I don't know what this icon is, but it's to add more search options. So just like we did filters, we could search very specific things, something that is from a particular email, that has an attachment, that is a certain size. So if you know you've got a big mailbox, you could say get rid of, or greater than, search everything greater than so many megabytes. You know, those are, I don't know, let's say 15 megabytes. I'm going to do that and you'll see in a second. And it by default searches all mail. So I'm going to search for that. And this is the only one that is a big file, and I could delete it if I wanted. Okay. Let me just see what you're saying. Archive stays in storage though. Archive just means it goes to this all mail folder. Okay. If you archive it only, it sits in this all mail folder. You can archive it and put it its own label, then it sits in all mail and that folder label. Okay. And I don't know what you mean by backing up and deleting. Like if you're set up properly on a proper business server, your stuff is secure. Free email, not so much. Okay. How do I get rid of the blue highlight in my inbox? So I don't know what you mean by that. So maybe a screenshot. Can you do a screenshot, Kim, and I can look at it? Okay. So we've got like 5 minutes left. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to answer some of the questions that people had live, and let's see. And I probably answered a lot of them already, but how do I mass delete unopened emails? I think I already talked about that. You search for unopened emails and then you could delete them or archive them or whatever you want. How do you organize emails? We talked about. How do you get rid of multiple emails from the same sender? I'm not sure I understand that part. How to clean up hundreds of thousands of emails? Yep, told you about that. Auto sorting. Okay, so you can also sort. Someone was asking about sorting. And if you have a specific question, please ask in the chat. Okay. So up here, if I hover over here, I can see how old, I can sort by how old my oldest email is, 2021. Okay, that's some feature. They've changed this is recent. So this is also how do you want to view your email? Again, I've showed you different spots where you can do this. This is another spot. And then this is for language. Okay. And then let me just see, hold on. If you put a folder instead of archive, does it? Yes, it counts. You mentioned you might discuss using Outlook to handle your G Suite email. Oh, okay. If I said that, that's not what I meant. I am very against people using Outlook, specifically Outlook, the third-party downloadable Outlook just on one computer for your business, because so many things can go wrong. We want direct contact. Okay, if I said that, I did not mean that. So thank you for asking. No, do not use Outlook. And there's different things. Outlook calls the same thing. Different things the same thing. It's weird. I don't like how, anyhow. So you can get a business email from Outlook. You can pay for just PowerPoint and Word and Excel, or you can also get Outlook desktop software. So I'm talking right now about the Outlook desktop software that you would download to your specific computer, create a profile, add your Gmail and your Yahoo and your Shaw and your whatever to it. I do not recommend that. If you don't understand that, you should book a call with me if you haven't already. Okay. How can you check to make sure all your contact info syncs? You'd have to book a call because different ways that people are set up may not be syncing. I think that you're talking about, so we could have an ability to add a contact on my phone. It ends up here in my Gmail contacts and then in my contacts in my CRM. So everything syncs and integrates, but you have to be set up properly in order to do that. Okay. Let's see. What is the best way to print directly from email? I know it's simple, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So that question, it should be simple. So if I open up this email, this is what I do. I'll tell you, I don't print much anymore because I save everything. Like if it's to do with accounting, let's say this is a receipt, I would actually go print, but then I don't print it. Wait until it gets there, just a sec. Is it finished? Nope. I save it as a PDF and I put it in my folder structure that I share with my accountant. So I might rename this, I save this. So if it, was whatever, $100 receipt, I need my bookkeeper to know or my accountant to know. I just save everything. This would be a June receipt in the June 2023 folder. So I wouldn't print this off. I just keep everything. Does that make sense? Okay, hopefully. Do you suggest paying? How can you check to make sure all your contact? Oh, no, I already answered that. Brenda, your question about there's modules on that, what you need to do if you're already some kind of business user, what you need to be on a different plan or what plan you're on. Okay, so hopefully we'll answer that. If you're stuck, again, anyone who's working with us, submit a support ticket. We're always here to help. Okay. Let me just go back. How to properly sync Apple phone, iPad, and computers, Windows, or Mac. Again, you need to book a call with me because I need to know what your setup is right now. And like, there's a different, I would say something different if you were a Windows user and an iPhone user, or a Mac user and an iPhone user. It's irrelevant if someone says you have to be a Mac user and you like your iPhone. That is not true. You have to be configured properly in order for things to sync and integrate. Okay, perfect. So we actually have this webinar is till 11:30. So I still have got some stuff. Thank you. Phil's saying thanks. You're welcome. Sherry, book a call. Thank you. Yes, book a call. I'll just keep going through if you guys need to go, but there's lots of questions that were asked when people registered. So I'm just going to go through it. Okay. Currently using a Mac Mail for personal, using Gmail for business. Any tips? Need to improve my Gmail knowledge. So I would never suggest using a @Mac, @iCloud, they're all free email and they don't sync properly, right? That's, if I'm drilling anything into your head, I'm hoping you're getting that. Hey, Lorraine, I don't know if you're here, but she said nothing. My address is an Apple account. Will your class apply? Yeah, we don't want @me because Apple takes over certain things and there's better ways to manage your business rather than running on these free email @me, @iCloud, @Gmail, @Shaw, @Telus, @Cox, @AOL, get it, @Outlook.com, @Live.com. Those are all free email accounts, right? Not good because you guys are all business people. Can you show me the easiest way to delete multiple emails? Oh, I didn't show you guys that. So let me show you that. Good question. So let's go back to here. So again, if we know who it's from and we want, I did show you that. I showed you how to find an email and then search for the email, and then you can delete all the emails or archive the emails from that specific person or business. But what you can also do is I'm looking at this, I can just tap, scroll around, I want to get rid of this, and then I can make the decision, do I want to delete it? I'll delete these ones. And then let's say, oh, I want to keep this, but I want it out of my, if you're doing this piecemeal, kind of manually, I want to just go up here and then I can archive these. Okay, I think that answered the question. Okay, perfect. What's the best way to organize emails? I think I answered that. Is Gmail a free email domain or not? So anything that you're not paying for is free. So let me just see, sorry, I'm just looking at the person who said that their email address is a free Gmail email. So yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, Pat, thanks, Darci. You always have such great tips. For those of you who haven't booked the session, do it now. Thank you, Pat. That's also awesome. Let's keep going here. Do you recommend to download old drive files to make room for cloud storage? I don't like that question because I need to know more. Anything to save, again, if you're asking me because you have to pay for Dropbox or Drive, you're not set up properly, because if you're set up properly, it should be included in your business email on the right plan, and all whatever you're paying covers cloud storage. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. How to have incoming emails put themselves in the right folder. I think we talked about that. Just look how create more files at the top. Well, we already talked about that. Oh, how do I use Chat GPT and Gmail? You know what? I don't know. I do use ChatGPT, but I don't know, it's the free version. So maybe with the paid version, you can add it as an extension. I would guess you could. An extension is on the browser up here. Oh, is that ChatGPT? Oh, I do have it. I do have it as an extension. So there you go. There's the plugin. Question, can we sync 2 Gmail accounts? Oh, you have to be more specific than that. I don't understand what you mean by sync to what, to where. If you search on an email and search all, does it get all of them or only for so many pages? Oh, good one, Steve. Hi, Steve. Okay, so let's do another test. I'm going to search for Google. Okay. Now, see, it's loading them all, but see over here, it says 100 of many. So I would have to keep going until I've looked at all the emails I need. Hopefully that answers your question, Steve. Okay. So I could keep going, and then it would go through each of the, I can't remember how many it shows now. Yeah, I can't remember how many it shows, but also this is another tip, is that I was searching for something, anything that says the word Google. If you scroll down at the very bottom and your trash has not been emptied automatically yet, it also will say some of these messages that you're asking for are in spam or trash. Do you want to view them? And then you would say yes to look if you're looking for something specific, because maybe it did end up in spam, or maybe it is in trash. Archive, it's searching for archives. Okay. Let me just, I think that's good on that. Let me go back to here. Creating multiple email addresses and having them filter in separate folders for assistance. Shane, if you're here, I don't know what you mean. You'd have to ask that in more detail. How do I get my appointments to stop coming up twice in my Google Calendar? You need to book a call, because that is not normal, and that means there's some configuration set up. Emails are being copied to my important folder, and I can't see filter doing this. It's important. Okay, well, emails are being copied to my important folder. I can't see a filter doing it. Okay. It is putting a lot of junk into important. Okay, so you can turn off the important. And if you don't know how, I'm going to show you what, I know a lot because I have been in technology and systems and email and all types of email platforms and how they sync and integrate. But honestly, the world is like, we don't have to know anything. We just have to know how to find it. So I'm just going to talk to you about that. So let's say that question, I don't know the answer, is that important label on Gmail. I might search that and see what it means, and they might talk about it. There's probably ways to turn off the important so that they don't accidentally go there as well. And it might be in a filter that you accidentally set up, but the internet will tell you everything you ever needed to know, right? Because you're never the first person with a question. Another one is how to separate the compile email, how to separate them, or just getting to the latest email. Okay, again, that's a view. You can sort by different things. That's a view. What's the best way to purge? We talked about that. Okay, I actually have answered all your questions. Now let me get back to my presentation, make sure I've covered everything. Okay, and I'm just going to do the slideshow. And then we're going to look at this and just see if I've covered everything. Okay, how does a professional email look? Like the difference between these are not, if I can stress about how crappy these look, and that is not professional. It is not doing you any good to look very unprofessional, because to have things set up properly, it doesn't cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just that you get your license and then you never know how to set up your business. And this is true of a dentist or a doctor. They get out of school and nobody teaches them how to run a business, and an agent is no better. And I always like to use this analogy that, there's this guy, this lawyer. We like them both. We got to hire a lawyer, and he's Joe the Best Lawyer in 1973 at yahoo.com, right? And then there's this one, Jenny at Smith Law. Tell me what one you would pick. Yet I don't understand why real estate agents don't think the same way. When people are interviewing agents for listings, you don't think that it's the same thing. They look at, well, why are they using ageism, I might think that's too young or too old. So that's horrible to put your year of birth in your email, number one. And then it looks crappy. It does not look legitimate. You don't look like a real agent, like you're just flying by the seat of your pants. And Jenny looks professional. Okay. Makes sense. Okay. Very important to understand, you guys. And I don't think, again, I talk about this till the cows come home about how unprofessional it is to use a Yahoo account, a Gmail account for business, a Shaw account, any kind of freeware that you're not marketing for yourself, because all of these reasons, you look unprofessional, it's your brand, you're marketing for Gmail or Yahoo or Shaw or whoever, you appear less confident and trustworthy. You don't look legit, like I said. You have all these issues with that I talked about earlier with free email accounts, which are many, and again, who you're marketing for. And 75% of consumers, that's your clients, say that an email address matching your domain. And I have to preface that set up properly, because I see people always setting this up incorrectly, and then you're just adding another email to the mix and messing your stuff up. I almost swore. Okay, so that was a survey done in 2016, but email does really matter. I'm just going to whip through this really, really fast. Okay, so if you read an email on one device and it shows unread on another, that's free email problems. You're not set up properly. If you move an email to a folder on one device and it doesn't move on another, email problems. Okay, incorrectly configured email. If you piecemeal your business together, try and get it to work, but it doesn't, that's usually stems from email problems. If you can't edit a contact on your phone, it ends up everywhere else that you touch, that's email problems. Configuration and email problems. So you waste so much time when you can't do stuff, right? So it causes people a lot of stress. And I always like this, that you'd be surprised how much it costs to look this cheap. Right? Good old Dolly. But cheap and free is actually costing you a lot of money, right? And people always ask me still, like, what CRM, what proper business email? And I can tell you, it's kind of like when people, I'm just going to leave this up so you can take a screenshot of that, or you can go to agenttechmastery.com/apply and book a chat with me. But it's such a problem, because when people say, hey, Darci, what software? So you'll see, if you book a call with me, you're going to book a time and then you're going to fill out a form, and I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, because it's kind of like when people say, hey, Darci, I'm a car salesman. Okay. I'm a car salesman. Hey, Darci, what kind of car should I get? I wouldn't just say, oh, go get a Lexus. I don't know you. I'd need to know way more about your business. How many cars do you have? Is this an extra car? Do you want electric? Do you want a convertible? Do you have kids? Do you need a van? Like, we need to know so much more information. And it's the same with business systems. How many email addresses do you have? How many phones do you have? What type of phones do you have? What type of computers do you have? What CRMs are you using or not using or have used? Like, there's a lot of questions. And Ray, if you can put the apply to the in the chat, please. And then if you do the screenshot of this, what happens is you can book a complimentary session as well. You can sign up for our newsletter. You can get our famous checklists. You can do a whole bunch of things with that screenshot. But if you know you want to just book a call with us to review your systems, you can't scan the QR code. Well, isn't that crappy then? Just a sec. Ray, are you there? Hello? I don't know if Ray's here. Let me just grab this.
Sorry, Darci. Hi.
Can you please put the link in the chat? And I don't know,
absolutely.
has anyone else tried scanning the scanning this? Did it work? I just spoke at a conference, so there's no problem. Ray, can you mute yourself, please? Ray?
Yep, on it.
No, can you mute yourself because you're typing?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. So it worked for most people. I don't know if it's not working for you, but it will give you links to all this, or you can just book, Ray's put it in the chat. So you can book a chat with me to review your systems and see if you're a good fit for our program to finally get your stuff fixed. And it works for new agents. It works for agents who've been around a while. I'm just gonna stop the share and look at you guys. Can you see anybody? No. Any other questions while we're here? Let me just see. I think I've covered everything. Oh, and again, Sherry, it's interesting because I have quite a few people who've gone through our program and they keep saying book a call. So I think you should book a call because we teach agents how to run their systems properly so that you will save time and eventually use a darn CRM that's going to make you that money. I'll tell you a little story. Oh, thank you, Sherry. It's new-ish. Oh, it took a long time to do. She's commenting on my, let's say, white hair. I'm going to tell you a story, a new agent who just went through our program. Once we got their systems all set up, what happened was we have a process in the 6th week to send an email to the clients. Of course, if you're a new agent, right, you don't have clients, generally speaking, and he didn't have any clients yet. So he took this email template that we suggest for new agents and he sent it to his sphere of influence. And I actually interviewed him last week and he told me, you got 2 deals from that email. So if you don't think it's worth it to have your system set up, he's going to be successful forever and moving forward. And agents who've been around for a long time, you need to have this stuff. Like, you can't be blind to numbers that your systems are messing you up and you're not keeping in touch with your clients because you don't know what CRM or nothing's syncing, nothing's integrated. Just book a call and let's get this stuff fixed. Okay. The replay is going to be, we'll send something out. I think, Ray, when do we send it out? Today, tomorrow? I can never remember. We'll send
It's going to be tomorrow morning.
Saturday, automatically?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll send it out and you'll be able to watch the replay. We'll have it in YouTube. We have it in our Facebook group, our business page. There'll be lots of spots to be able to look at this again if you want. And you can also ask questions in any of the spots that on the social media. Okay, so awesome. You guys have a very good weekend and we'll let you know when we're doing another webinar for sure. Okay, awesome.